I'm taking inventory of my cupboards for the January Pantry and Freezer Challenge that has been put out there on YouTube by several of the YouTube ladies that I watched. Got some corn muffin mix that'll make some good cornbread for chili. And this I do buy for my kids just for some quick after school meals if they want to make a batch of mac and cheese or on the weekend, so we won't count that. I've got some baking mix there, and that would be, you know, like your Bisquick. I've got some Mrs. Grass soup that we use when we're sick, and we do have some of the Idahoan loaded baked potato. It's like a scallop potato thing that would be for like some of the weeknight meals as a side dish, or maybe throw in some ham, make some ham and scalloped potatoes. I've got just a couple packages of ramen noodles for my kids. They can make those at their own will. Same with these loaded baked potato packets. Those are for my kids mostly. They can make those on their own. This is a creamy wild rice soup packet, and it's amazingly delicious. And I bought that. So that is a really good meal to make during the week when I don't have anything else planned. I've got enough whole kernel corn and cream corn there to make about 3 batches of corn casserole. I make that and serve that as a side dish, and my family loves that. I've got some pepperoni there, so I'll definitely make probably, I think I'm going to make a braided pepperoni and sausage pizza, and maybe I'll make a video on that. Back there I've got a couple of vegetable juices. I'll make a batch or 2 of chili out of that, and then just some diced tomatoes and some tomato paste, which I'll definitely use those in many of my recipes. Here's another diced tomato paste. Along the wall I've got plenty of beans. I'm not at the point yet where I've started canning my own beans, but once I get these depleted here, I think I'm ready to move into canning beans. So I've got plenty there for some good chilies and some Spanish-based meals with some refried beans. And the Campbell's soup mix, what I usually keep on hand is the Fiesta nacho cheese. The cream of chicken, I do make sloppy joes using cream of chicken. Maybe I'll show you a video on that. And I also make shredded chicken sandwiches with the cream of chicken. But the Fiesta nacho cheese soup and the cheddar cheese soup, I make a beefy nacho cheese soup with that my family really likes. So I'll make that. And the cream of mushroom, obviously, just keep that on hand for anything that involves beef. I picked up this chicken flavor base when we went down to Amish country last, and it's wonderful flavoring for chicken noodle soup, so I'll make some chicken noodle soup too. And there, of course, I've got more cream of chicken soup, cream of mushroom, another cream of chicken, and some more of the nacho cheese soup. I've got a couple of jars of the baked beans. We'll either use as a side dish, or I've got a meal called Hungry Jack with ground beef and baked beans, and then you put and you mix it with ketchup and brown sugar, and then you put cut up Pillsbury biscuits on top of that. These are all just dried beans, and some of them are already mixed together for soup mixtures. So this is a 3-bean soup that we like to make. This is called a holiday bean soup. And this is one of the Amish stores that we go to. It's called Planktown Country Market in Shiloh, Ohio. And it's just an Amish bulk food store, deli, and we'll go on a trip there pretty soon, and I'll be sure to take everyone along because we really love going there. And it's maybe just an hour and a half away from where we're at. It's not too far, and just a lot of good bulk spices. And their beef, or their meats, deli meats and cheeses are priced so reasonably. So that's one that we like to pick up there, the holiday bean soup mix. And I think that's the same back here. This is the holiday bean soup mix. And another holiday bean soup mix. So as you can see, that's one of the bean soup mixtures that we like the most. Back there I've got some black beans, dried black beans that I'll work on probably canning those up this winter. And then I've got some black-eyed peas. I like to get those canned up. That'll be a new one for me, the pressure canning of the beans. And so that'll be an adventure for me. and then use those in some recipes. But this is another soup mix that we like, 13 bean. And I don't know what mixture this is, but it's just a beautiful mixture of beans. So maybe I'll can those and see what they're made out of. I'm sure it was purchased for a soup mix, but I just don't have the information anymore. And then this is another veggie soup mix that I got. I believe I got that one at Big Lots. And this one's got some alphabet noodles inside of it. So we'll throw that together, and it's kind of like a split pea soup, it looks like. And maybe throw in some chicken with that, or maybe some hamburger, some meatballs might be kind of good. I don't know. We'll see. I dug out what pasta I have, and I'm going to try to make it work through the month. I don't know that I'll be able to make all of this work through the month. I may have to go out and pick up a little bit more pasta, because I do intend to make some lasagna. So I've got a box of linguine, half a box of elbow macaroni. I've got egg noodles for chicken noodle soup. I've got a little bit of the pancake mix from GFS. I've got some ditalini that I can throw in some beef vegetable soup. And I've got some of these fine egg noodles that we picked up at Planktown Country Market, the Amish store. So these are kind of like Mrs. Grass or Mrs. Weiss chicken noodle soup. I can't remember which one. But that again will make some good chicken noodle soup. So that's what I have for my dry goods right now. Here we are back out in pantry number 2. I just did my pantry tour, so you saw that I had several bags of potatoes up there, and this one right here has onions in it. And this is where I keep the snacky stuff for the kids. We bought some Doritos so we can have a taco salad. And I've got plenty of cereal for the kids for the mornings. Rice. I've got to clean out this shelf somehow, make some room. I've got some noodles I want to get back there that I took out of my other cupboard. So I've got to find a way to get some noodles out here. And all of my extra spices. So I've got plenty of food out here. And of course we can't forget my pantry down here in the basement. I've got plenty of things down here that I can make into meals. This is all roasted tomato sauce for tomato soup, pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, any of those variety of things. Obviously the sauerkraut will be used for a meal. In fact, we're making sauerkraut balls today for New Year's Day. And the Rotel tomatoes, I put those in my beefy nacho soup, and I remembered what kind of chilies these are, Anaheim chilies. And I think the rest of everything else that I've got here is more or less just desserts, side dishes, condiments, except for the green beans. We'll definitely use those up for side dish, and the banana peppers on the braided pizza. And I think that's about it. Like I've showed you before, I've got that beef there for Kevin and I when the kids are gone some night. And I've got the one jar of canned salsa back there for goulash. So again, several meal options just looking down here in my basement pantry, and more canned goods here that I can definitely utilize without having to run to the grocery store. Kitchen, and I've got several bags of frozen vegetables right there, some peas and mixed veggies, so I can throw those into some soup, some probably beef vegetable soup this month or this winter. And these are just some extra chocolate chips and nuts and things, and just a small batch of frozen carrots right there. So it's pre-chopped and frozen cilantro cubes, which I obviously haven't used yet. I never think to use it, even though it's right here in front of my face. So you know what I'm thinking I might do with that is throw it in with some cilantro rice when I make tacos or burritos. So I'll throw that in with some rice in my Instant Pot. And I always keep a couple sticks of butter up here. We don't use margarine, we only use butter. And the kids just a few Eggos that we had, I think when we went on vacation. When we went to DC. I rarely ever keep stuff like this. I don't like these processed foods, but we had some left over from DC. I can't believe they haven't eaten them yet. These are just some breaded veal packets from a couple nights ago. We had breaded veal sandwiches for supper on a late night. We get that from one of our local butchers. And then I've got, this is where we keep our coffee. And the kids, I do buy some of those beef and bean burritos. They can warm those up after school for a snack. I've got some whole wheat flour and some self-rising flour back there. A little bit of ice cream I bought around Thanksgiving. And I keep my bread heels here for homemade croutons. So I'll bring you along for a video and show you how I make some homemade croutons. And then we've got some phyllo dough. We've got a little tart, I guess we call it a tart, kind of a pastry, tomato, feta cheese that we make with the phyllo dough. We don't make it very often because the kids don't really care for it. My dad did bring me some shrimp when they went down to North Carolina last, and I haven't used it yet. So maybe we'll have that with a pesto. Oh, Yellowstone, wild game processing. Look there, elk burger. Pretty cool. From Montana. Wow. I hadn't even opened up this package yet. Elk burger from Yellowstone, from Montana. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait to try that. I'm assuming that's just ground. So these are just chicken bones and a chicken back from the last time we butchered. I'll roast those and make some bone broth. Oh, this is a prime rib from our beef. That wasn't wrapped very well, so we wanted to salvage it and keep it up here. Oh, just some hamburger patties I bought for the kids for the summer if they wanted to fry up a hamburger. And it looks like they haven't made them, so I might just go ahead and use them. Maybe I'll make up some Salisbury steak. Celery choppings that I'll throw in with the turkey and chicken carcasses for some broth. I'm pretty sure that these are just chicken parts that I'll throw into the broth stock. Oh, onion skins and cuttings, throw that into the stock. This is sea salt chipotle smoked sausage. They make it there in-house. It's my favorite, and we serve it with pierogies and green beans in a one-pot meal. This is the current state of my refrigerator right now. It's just packed full. Plenty of milk, half and half, heavy whipping cream. I've still got cheese chunks from when we served it with the beef over the holidays. And so I'll probably throw those in and make a homemade mac and cheese with those. I've got plenty of bread. I've got some cottage cheese back there that I plan to make a lasagna with. Some of the leftover beef stick that we had from the holidays and plenty of cheese. So we've got plenty of cheese for homemade mac and cheese. Got some celery there, plenty of celery. Maybe I'll end up dehydrating some of that. And every kind of condiment that you can imagine. Pickles, cowboy candy. It looks like I need to make some more ranch dressing. I've been using Noreen's recipe, and I'll leave a link below for that. That's from Christmas Day. And obviously the hard-boiled eggs that I just made today, and the eggs that I just washed up. So we've got a good supply of eggs for omelets, and maybe I'll make some bullseye eggs for the kids. They really like those, and maybe I'll try to do a video on those. And plenty of sour cream. I've got some ricotta cheese there. So I'll make something with the ricotta cheese. It looks like I've got to get my crisper cleaned out. And cauliflower. I'd like to make some cauliflower soup, but I don't know if that's good anymore. Got some cranberries. I'd like to make a cranberry sauce, maybe something canned. I've got a couple tubes of the biscuits, celery, carrots, more celery. Oh, cilantro, yeah. More lettuce, tortillas, plenty of biscuits down there. So as you can see, we are totally stocked for food for January. There's only just a few things I need to run out and get. So here is my refrigerator that we have out in the garage. And of course, everything in it is frozen, so I really don't even need to keep it turned to a particular temperature because it's so cold out here in the garage right now. So these are the ham bones that were left over from Thanksgiving, and I'm going to throw those into the ham and bean soup and get off as much of the ham as I can from those. So we'll have that several times over the winter. I've got just some chicken necks from the last time that we butchered, and I'll throw those in and make a little stock. I'll probably throw those in. Oh, this is some more ham. That's from Christmas. And I'll probably throw the chicken necks in with the turkey carcass. This is the turkey carcass from Thanksgiving. I've got all kinds of chopped up vegetable pieces, onion skins, celery leaves. I'll throw the carcass in with the vegetable pieces and make a broth, make a stock. And then up here I've got some beef bones, and we'll make some beef soup over the winter. And this is our upright freezer that we have out in the garage, and this is where we keep our vegetables and fruits and soups, breads, miscellaneous things that we need in a pinch without having to run down to the basement. So generally what I'll do is I'll make up some large batches of soup, and I'll put them in these smaller freezer containers here. That way when we're on our way out the door in the morning for work, we can just grab a soup. It's already made up, take it to work, and by the time lunch rolls around, it's already thawed out. And those are just some different varieties of leftover soup that I went ahead and froze. I've got some yummy Sneaky Pete's. Ooh, I'll have to do a video on making Sneaky Pete's. That's really good. Just some extra butter. I'm running a little low, as you can see, on my soups, so I got to get going on those bean soups. And out here I generally keep my frozen vegetables, but I'm going to try not to buy any more because I've got so many vegetables on hand right now, besides just that one bag right there. And this is where I would keep my freezer jams. These are my rhubarb jams. So I've got several of those, what I'll probably do over the winter. Besides using it on toast and biscuits and things, I do like to make thumbprint cookies with a little dab of jam in them. And then just some extra juice mixes and some extra grape jelly. I'll probably use the grape jelly with some meatballs and chili sauce for an appetizer, maybe for Super Bowl. I'll make some meatballs and use up the grape jelly. So here we go. These are our beef sticks that we got from our beef that we had processed this fall. And we used a lot of that this over the holiday season for gift giving and plates of beef and cheese and crackers. And here I've got plenty of roasted sweet potatoes that I would mix with butternut squash that was roasted. I'll make a roasted butternut squash soup. I've got plenty of green beans. With the green beans, I do generally make those into a sea salt chipotle sausage, pierogi, and green bean one-pot meal. And I've got plenty of green peppers for chili. I've got plenty of carrots as a side dish. I generally use those, or I can throw those into a soup. Plenty of green beans. Back here, I do have another big batch of unstuffed green pepper soup. So I'll probably get that thawed out and separate it out into smaller containers. Got a big batch of salsa there. I'll make some goulash with that salsa, and more carrots. Plenty of carrots. We had a really, really good year. Carrots in our garden. I've got some blueberries. Maybe we'll make some blueberry pancakes. I've got some shredded zucchini, and I like to put that in with a dark chocolate brownie recipe, and makes for a really moist brownie. Here we've got plenty more carrots, green beans. Oh, and that right there, as you can see on top of the other one, is pesto. So that came from basil that I had in my garden in 2016. I whipped it up in my blender, added in some olive oil and Parmesan cheese, and I don't remember if I put pine nuts in that or not, but I just went ahead and froze it. So I'll make some pesto pasta, maybe with some shrimp this winter. about the same stuff that we have there. So that's what you're going to find there on my top shelf there. Mostly just vegetables is what I try to keep up there on the top shelf. Here I've got some overflow vegetables, diced tomatoes, which I'll throw into chilies, and the ham and bean soup. More carrots. I've got some sauerkraut from when we made our sauerkraut in 2015 in Crocs. And I canned most of it, but I had some left over, so I went ahead and just put it in a freezer container. And this is where I generally try to keep more of my fruits, but because we had so many vegetables this year, I had to kind of overflow my vegetables into my fruit shelf. And this is something that I made in 2016. I had a very good crop of rhubarb that my mom gave me from her garden. And so I made this rhubarb sauce for ice cream. It's delicious. Just got a little hint of vanilla in it. And I've got plenty of those back there. This came from a friend. This is rabbit or duck. Can't remember if it's rabbit or duck. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to figure out a way to cook that yet. Oh, here it is. This is duck. Pretty sure that says duck breast. Yeah, so I got a couple of duck, and then I know one of them was rabbit. Yeah, this one right here. So this is rabbit. So maybe I'll make a rabbit stew out of that, and figure out a way to use that stuff. I want to make sure I research the recipes thoroughly before I commit to something. So I got plenty of tomatoes, plenty of carrots. Oh, good, look there. There's some more cabbage roll soup. So I'll get that out and get that separated out into some of my smaller containers. Oh yeah, some more Sneaky Pete. Oh, that's so good. That is so good in the summer. Plenty of carrots. Plenty of carrots. Great crop of carrots this year. Oh, and look there, meatball sub sauce. So that was just a little bit of leftover I had from one time that we had meatball subs. So I'll be sure to make that. Do some meatball subs, and I'll remember to use that. And then here is where I just store extra cheeses, which are used all the time. I definitely don't have to worry about having cheese that goes bad. Lunch meat for the kids for their sandwiches. And this stuff will be gone probably in a week and a half. I got a Cool Whip back there. Here are the egg sausage burritos that I made a couple days ago. And it looks like I've got a package back there of French fries or tater tots. Probably tater tots, so we'll have some tater tot casserole. Here's some more of our beef sticks and the corn on the cob that I froze from this summer. Got plenty of corn for side dishes, and that's really wonderful to have that in the dead of winter. And the bottom rack here is where I keep our buns, breads, Italian bread for grilled cheese sandwiches, and just regular bread for everyday sandwiches. So that is my freezer. My outside freezer. Now I'll show you my basement freezer. And finally, here is my basement freezer, and this is where we keep all of our meats. So here we've got our ground beef from our steer that we took in this fall. These are just some hot dogs that I got for the kids. I've got a couple of Italian sausage packs here, but I've got a couple recipes in mind for that. Some of our chickens that we butchered. Here's one of the cottage butts that I'm going to use in the bean soup. Just a good cut of ham. And it looks like I've got some beef stew from our steer this fall. Use that for something. I've got some turkey that's already cooked and shredded. That was from Thanksgiving. That I bought around Thanksgiving. Aldi had a real good price on hams at Thanksgiving. So I bought one for Christmas. Figured I would make the other one at some point. So here we've got plenty of chickens, couple pieces of ham left over. I'll throw that in with the soups. My husband and the boys do like in the summer to thaw out the beef heart. They take it out by the fire and grill it on the fire and slice it up and eat it and act like Neanderthal cavemen and all that and grunt and all that good stuff. So, oh, this is another part of the heart. So this is heart from our beef, and I don't like it. I think it's very tough. Shredded turkey from Thanksgiving. So I usually will make those into casseroles or shredded turkey sandwiches. And obviously we had our chickens that we butchered. We did 2 or 3 batches of chicken butchering this year, and so we've got plenty of chicken. Plenty of whole chicken, half chicken, parted out chicken, you name it. We've got plenty of chicken that should last us until probably May or June is what we're thinking. Got another turkey half here. This is the turkeys that we harvested in June or July. So somewhere in the middle of winter, I'll take that out, cook it in the electric roaster, and we'll have some turkey meat again. The second layer of our freezer down here in the basement, where we've got all of our beef from our steer that we took in for processing this fall. We've got plenty of chuck roasts. I had them cut them into 1-pound packets so I could fit them in my Instant Pot pressure cooker. I've got a couple boxes of burger patties right there. Plenty of roasts and steaks, and we'll probably save most of the steaks for summer grilling season. So after a little bit more digging down here in my freezer, I found I do have another turkey that I can cook this winter. This is a turkey half, and then we parted out another turkey to just breast and thigh, and it's a 13-pound breast and thigh. So I'll do the same thing with that, throw it in the oven or the electric roaster, shred it up, soups, casseroles, sandwiches, salads, all kinds of stuff. And the rest of it down there, that's all chicken. So we've got plenty, and I will do my best to stick to the pantry and freezer challenge for the month of January and use what I can without running to the grocery store. There's no reason for me to run to the grocery store. I've got plenty of food here.